have been our teachers. They have given us not only support, but the tools we need to succeed. There have been lessons learned that will last far beyond high school and into our lives. Tonight, as we look back, there have been times when our foundations have seemed shaky. At times, we have failed inspections and have been sent back to the drawing board to reevaluate and do some soul searching. Each test of our foundation has served only to make it stronger. We face tomorrow with hope, though we know that storms may await us down the road. Equipped with a firm beginning built on love and support, we know that we can weather any storm and emerge with our hopes and dreams firmly intact. Tonight, as each of us takes that final walk across the stage, we are receiving not just our diploma, but the building permit for the next chapter of our lives. As we hold in our hands the official recognition of the past 4 years, we also hold in our hearts the next set of blueprints for our hopes and dreams for the future, a future we are moments from beginning. To my fellow graduates, I wish you each the best of luck and happiness. To my family, you have been my never-ending source of love and encouragement. Mom, thank you for always believing in me. Your love and support have meant the world to me. To each of my friends, thank you for the wonderful memories. I will miss you all, but you will never be forgotten. Finally, my teachers, each of you has taught me a lesson I will never forget. As teachers, mentors, and friends, you have meant so much to me. Mrs. Hanneman, thank you for teaching us the value of Thursdays. Mr. Weatherwax, thank you for the laughs and, as I quote, for being solely responsible for my academic success. Mr. Mason, thank you for the jokes, and even if you can't tell the difference between pink and salmon, you have inspired me to be a coffeehouse waitress if college doesn't work out. To each and every person who has helped me to be where I am today, you are too numerous to name. Thank you. I couldn't have done it without you. As we face the future with hopes held high, good luck and God bless.
Our next valedictorian, Rita Cummings, in her speech title, A Tribute.
I have to admit that the topic of my speech tonight was subject of much consternation and hair-pulling. I wanted to deliver a speech that would speak momentous truth and stun all of you with its brilliance and insight. I considered a plethora of topics, including old standards such as the journey of life, individuality, and the importance of following your dreams. Yet, while meaningful, all of these ideas have been beaten to death in nearly every valedictorian speech since the beginning of time. So tossing aside commentary on the meaning of life, I'm instead going to thank some of the individuals who are usually overlooked and underrated, but have played a vital part in my academic success and have had compelling influence on the person I've become these last 4 years, my teachers. To Mr. Hunt, I think you're the only teacher who has ever made me look forward to Mondays because of our traditional college discussions and jokes in the back of the weekly schedules. You love your job, and your enthusiastic attitude shines through in the interest and effort you put into your classes day in and day out. I admire and appreciate your consummate professionalism, humor, and consideration. To Mr. Larson, as an unsuspecting freshman, I believe math to be a mechanical, torturous subject. However, your class has proved my presumptions wrong, and I've learned to love math. Besides calculus, I've learned that learning and fun are not mutually exclusive, and like you always said, mistakes can nearly always be blamed on the chalk. Thank you for perpetual encouragement and truly unforgettable sense of humor. To Mr. Pedlow, somehow you managed to make supply-demand charts fascinating, and that feat alone is testament to your worth as an educator. Yours is a class I hated to miss because of your always engaging lectures and refreshingly sarcastic sense of humor. You were definitely the cool teacher. Thank you for your reliable wit and intelligence. To Mr. Bryan, you expected a lot from me as a student and motivated me to do well, both for the sake of learning and to avoid garnering one of your infamous binomial error detentions. You were unquestionably one of the legends of Jackson High. To Mrs. Roskowski, I have to applaud your ability to conduct a government class without divulging your political leanings. Thank you for providing an environment where we all felt comfortable to speak our minds and discuss ideas. To Mrs. Jukery, thank you for the time and effort you invested in helping me always make my essays better and my writing stronger. I appreciate your continual support and respect your open-mindedness and creativity. And to Mrs. Nordhagen, you're an example of what a teacher should be. Thank you for your kindness, commitment, and attention to detail. To Mr. Weatherwax, despite your socialist tendencies, your class was always amusing and caused me to examine my views, though they haven't really changed. Thank you for a mind-opening experience. And lastly, I'd like to thank a teacher I first had in 11th grade, but not in 10th or 9th or 8th or 7th or 6th, and so on. And as many of you can probably guess, this person is Mr. Mason. Also, he'd like to be commonly known as Ricky Martin. You've been more than an excellent English teacher to me. Besides your self-professed engagements in the French espionage movement and the Lithuanian nobility, you're a great person who has continually exhibited both an immense dedication to teaching and genuine concern about the lives of your students. Mr. Mason, I will truly miss your comedic personality, affinity for salmon shirts, and the great conversations we've had over the years. To the teachers I've mentioned, to the others I may have forgotten, I appreciate the effort and knowledge you've shared with me over these past 4 years. You've given me more than an education. You've given me wisdom, perspective, and people to respect and remember throughout my life. And for that, I thank you.
Our next valedictorian, Laura E. Harley, out of line.
School is a chance for children to learn about the world. Rules and guidelines are enforced, and young minds are taught there is a right way to do everything. When we started school, every single kid loves to participate in any activity. Every kid is good at everything, and everybody is friends with everybody else. A couple years later, though, this openness has disappeared. Now we've learned there are good soccer players and awful ones, level 1 and level 4 spellers, talented musicians, artists, and performers, and then the shy, quiet kids. The importance of being good at something grows with the attention. Clarity is a necessity because now he's the one that's good at math and she's the one that draws really well, and him over there, he's the best kickball player in the whole school. There are rules of society to contend with now. Do what everyone says. Sit in your seat and be quiet. Finish your homework. Walk in straight lines and wear the clothes your parents pick out for you. Then, when you finally feel like you know everything and you've navigated the social ladder, high school starts. With a little interest and initiative, these really can be the best 4 years of your life. Only it takes 4 years to figure that out. High school has been an opportunity for me to step out of the single file lines and away from the group. There are still the students that are good artists or athletes, but I'm not, and that's okay. Any interest you have can be pursued. Your dreams start to form a reality, and baby steps towards goals start getting bigger and bigger. Finally, there's a whole world out there, not just your classroom and your friends. If you want to dance, you can dance. If you want to play the tuba, go ahead and play the tuba. If you have fun singing, sing all you want. Find what you want to do and put all your time and energy into it. You'll get some amazing results. High school isn't just about learning. It's not about the awards, the big game, what happened last weekend, or the cute boy in the hall. It's about you. It's about forgetting all the restrictions you've already learned. Get yourself pointed in the direction you want to go and have fun with it. Step out of line and develop your individuality. Let's face it, that's the only thing you can take with you after high school. The math theorems, the English lit authors, the former presidents, and verb congregations are in your head, but they don't decide the rest of your life. You do. So think back 13 years ago to kindergarten and be that little boy and girl and be creative and daring. Try new things. Follow your own rules to the game. Be yourself and be happy. The hardest thing you'll ever face in high school is defining yourself. And as Dr. Seuss put it, you have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself in any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know. You are the guy who'll decide where to go. Thank you.
Our next valedictorian, Catherine A. Claren, her speech entitled Definitions.
During the course of high school, innocent words and sometimes numbers take on new definitions. The seemingly harmless numbers 7, 4, and 0, when combined to denote the time 7:40, the minute at which I commenced learning 5 days a week, seem much more threatening than any 3-number combination should. Luckily, that particular time got a more rather than less positive meaning during my 4 years at Jackson High. The word teacher came to be defined as an almost superhuman individual who could sing to you on your birthday and write letters of recommendation at a day's notice.
one who could effectively teach math and be comedic, one who would not be deterred from telling you every single thing that should be in a dorm room. And coach is now a word whose definition definitely does not resemble the one in Webster's dictionary, which reads, a person who trains an athlete or team. Coach is an individual who is delighted to hear from athletes who need someone to talk to while away at camp, and doesn't mind if at least one of his players has his number memorized. Coach was the person who, yes, did most certainly train, but consoled, encouraged, motivated, and above all, cared. Friend is another word that brought a new meaning to my life. They went from something that was just really nice to have to being on the same level as food, shelter, and water. Friends are there to talk about absolutely anything with, to be bored with, and to reminisce with, to go to concerts with and get lost with on the way, and to eat ice cream with. Friends truly are there for anything, the good and the bad. But graduation is a word whose definition has constantly tipped the scales. Sometimes it seems to be a word with a very positive definition, a mark of a new beginning, independence, achievement, and of course, an occasion for celebration. But other times its meaning seems much more bittersweet. Everything I know, everything I have defined, and everything I have thus far been defined by, my school, my coach, my friends, will be left behind. But I look forward to, as I hope all graduates will, to finding new definitions.
Our next valedictorian, Matthew P. Lowen, his speech entitled, What's in a Title?
Good evening. Hey, Kim. A graduation ceremony is an event where the commencement speaker tells hundreds of students dressed in identical caps and gowns that individuality is the key to success. Put your heart, mind, intellect, and soul even to your small sacks. This is the secret to success. Fight for your opinions, but do not believe they contain the whole truth or the only truth. Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. We have been preparing to take off, and now we're here. We are the seeds of the tenacious plant, and it's our rightness and our fullness of heart that we are given to the wind and scattered from everywhere to anywhere. Alone we will have to grow and develop. But don't be afraid of growing slowly. Be afraid only of standing still. When we leave, we will carry our recollections. We will not remember days. We will remember moments. Moments that we do not know the true value of until they have undergone the test of memory. We will all leave with some regret. Regret for things we did can be tempered by time. It is regret for things we did not do that is inconsolable. But remember, what lies behind us and what lies before us are small matters compared to what lies within us. What you possess in the world will be found at the day of your death to belong to someone else. But what you are will always be yours forever. Once we depart, nobody will feel quite the same. For some reason, it will be subtle. For others, this day may be one of the most momentous they'll ever have to face. I'm not talking about the graduates here, but what I really mean is the parents. 13 years ago, they began our journey, holding our hands, bringing us to kindergarten. Look at how far we have come. But now it is time to move on. As we go, let's not make the mistake that others make, to treat graduation as an end rather than a beginning. Thank you.
Our next valedictorian, Daniel W. Malone, with his speech entitled Changes.
Hi, Mom. Okay, just picture the audience naked, all right.
Oh my God.
Good evening. The Dalai Lama once said, Unga Galunga. Ungala Galunga. Which, roughly translated, I think means, let's go Red Wings. Anyways, with that in mind, in all my years of public school, I've learned that cultural education is just as, if not more important than any other subject. I say this not as a bashing to our teachers or the curriculum, but as an added bonus to attending Jackson High. As we seniors look around, we see faces new and old. Some of us will go on to be rich and famous. Some musicians, some teachers, engineers, mechanics, computer geniuses, the sky's the limit. And I must say, it leaves me with a reassuring smile on my face to know that people like Brent Clore will be in my presidential cabinet later on in life. And Scott Rudolph will be in, well, about anything he wants to be in. And Scott Sheridan to make sure that I don't buy another Exploder. Oh, and Brian Richardson, make sure you give me an autograph sometime before college because I know it'll be worth a fortune someday. During this past year, I've learned a very important life lesson, one that I could not possibly have comprehended as an underclassman, that we as people, audience, students, faculty, should be passionate about what we do. It's a well-known fact, and guys, you can back me up on this, that teachers who love what they teach and love teaching make the most positive impact on the lives of the students in their classrooms. This idea can be carried out of the schools, into offices, streets, it doesn't matter. As long as we are passionate about what we do, success will be present. This idea has changed me in the way I look at life. Platonic thinking of one's arete is all the more reason to be passionate. We are all good at something. There's something that each and every one of us loves to do, well, besides eat and sleep. I think that's a teenager thing. If we find our something, work at it, and love doing it, we will be successful. I can guarantee that. I'd like to thank my teachers for doing more than just what is required of them, my friends for hanging in there with me, my family for support, and God for just being sweet. I'd like to close with a poem I composed about life entitled Pages Unwritten. The age of reason is a reasonable age, a long hungry stare at a midlife page. This novel is a work undone. Write it with passion. But make sure to start with a pen that is full, for once you stop writing, you just can't annul. You cannot start again. Do not lift pen from page. There's a twinkle of light in the mind of a man. He desires to know, tries to understand. Know the reasons? But how? Shall he know by smelling, by touch, or by sight? Shall he think it all through? This man is bright. Logically connect, or reasonably differentiate? So whichever decides you to partake, defend, just remember you owe it to be till the end. When the pen runs dry, there is no replacement ink. Everyone's pen will run dry at a time. Failure of heart, whether sad or sublime. I prefer me the latter. Write passionately without regret, for there are pages unwritten. Thank you.
That train that goes by is our graduation train. It comes by every year. Our next valedictorian, Colleen M. O'Shea, with her speech yesterday. Whoops, excuse me, a final word.
Good evening. I'd just like to inform the crowd that the Red Wings are up 3-0. 4-0. Okay. Oh, 4. My mistake. Okay, here we go. Someone once said, the rules for parents are but 3. Love, limit, and let them be. It is key for parents to love their children unconditionally, set rules for them to follow, but allow them to be their own person. And tonight, I would like to thank my own parents for doing just that. To start with, my dad, Mr. Dennis O'Shea, or Big D as he's known at Polly's Country Market. He's always thinking of others before himself, no matter what the case. Every morning he'd pick me up at 7 o'clock to take me to school, and every afternoon he would pick me up from school, never once complaining or asking someone else to do it. I've always been able to count on him for anything. There's never been a limit to his generosity, and anyone who knows will tell you the same. Next, my mom, Mrs. Pauline O'Shea. How to describe my mom? Well, she's loving, supportive, funny, and a little crazy at times. But it is these qualities and countless others that make her what she truly is, a great mother. Always encouraging and supportive, she would get so excited for me over any little thing. Whether I won my tennis match, aced the test, whatever. She was always cheering for me and still is. My parents have always been there for me through the good times and the bad. Their encouragement and interest in my life have been extremely important to me. With every positive reaction that I received from them to something I had done, it made me excited to make them happy again.
Their devotion and love is endless, and I would, without question, not